Yeah, getting everything started. Good morning, good afternoon. So I'm so used to coming on in the morning time from 7 to 9. We at drive time now, y'all. Getting this all started. We got a guest in the house. This gentleman, he's running for District 11, LD 11, State Senate. Yeah, he wants to be the next state senator. You know, also, did I get everything started right? Look, I got everything started right. So you know how things start slow sometimes. So good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We'll get right into the dialogue. Like I said, we got our guests right in the house, and I'm making sure that we got everything started so we can document this. And so if you want to get a chance to go back and listen to it later, you have the ability. All right, Omaha metro area. So let me cut this music down. I into a dialogue. All right. All right. Here we go.
I'm good. How you doing? Can you hear me through this mask?
Okay, me make sure I get the mic. Make sure you just turn
it this way.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
All right. For the Lord or?
Yeah, and just talk natural.
Okay.
And then people can hear me.
Cool.
Okay. Put this down just a little bit.
Just a little bit lower. There we go. Yeah, that's about right.
Right by your mouth.
All right, cool. All right.
Woohoo.
Testing. 3, 4, 8, 7.
All right, well, cool. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, let the people know who you are.
Hello, my name is Cornelius Williams, also known as Dr. Williams. Got a PhD in nuclear physics from Michigan State.
Okay.
I am running for state legislator in LD 11, District 11, here in Omaha, Nebraska, the district which I was born, raised, and grew up in, and feel wholehearted in my heart.
Okay.
This is where I was born. This is where I'm living currently. And depending on what God wills, this may be where I die, if I ever die.
Okay. Now, so you say you're from here. What high school did you go to?
I went to Central High.
Central High. Ah! So you're an Eagle.
Yeah,
you're
an Eagle.
Okay.
I'm an Eagle. I went to Central High, graduated in 82, best class ever.
Yeah, 82 was I graduated 83. 82 was a dominant class, especially athletically. For sure. Kerry Trotter, you got Scotty Harris, you got Doom Kellogg, he got Trotters. I mean, he had a wealth of talent. Wanda Hartsoe. Yeah. We go to the women, we go on that side too. I mean, Central, y'all had some great athletes there. So Kathy Harris, so here we go, y'all. Now, where'd you go to college at again?
I went to, I got my BS from Stanford University.
Stanford, okay.
In California,
what's your BA in?
BS.
BS?
BS, physics.
Physics.
Yeah.
So physics. Okay. Yeah. So you're smart, man.
Well, that's what they tell me. I always say that. I'm a modest man when it comes to academia.
Right.
It's like I went to Stanford, just to give you an idea of sometimes how academia, it's not just in the family per se, but my brother is a medical doctor. One of my sisters just got a PhD. My cousin's son, he just got into MIT last year. So.
Okay, great. So, so it's good to, brag off excellence because I am also smart. Oh, yeah. I am also smart.
See the new.
Yeah. See, I can around with me because, you know how superstars are. But now you say you got your PhD?
Yeah.
In what?
Nuclear physics.
Why nuclear physics? And are you in that realm now?
In physics?
Nuclear physics.
Nuclear physics is a particular realm which studies the nuclei of atoms and things like that and inside. So it's one of the branches of physics. You still have particle physics and stuff like that, which
Uh-huh.
was interested in as well. Um, Nuclear physics was one of the main things that Michigan State had and was a far front at the program in the country.
Right.
So that's one reason why I did that one. My primary reason for doing physics was, and is to teach. And currently I'm adjunct at Metro
Okay.
Community College.
Uh-huh.
And, with this new, is it better?
There you go.
You always adjust.
No, there we go. I'll
With-
make sure.
With this new situation going on, of course, it changes the way that we have to teach at everywhere,
Right.
including, Metro. So we'll be doing a lot of Zoom classes. And I'm going to have to we're going to have to work on how to do the labs.
So you're teaching science
Yes.
at Metro.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what classes?
Physics.
Physics. Okay. All right.
Physics and physical science. Until, really, I'll teach anything they let me.
Okay.
But, they have their rules.
Okay. Without a doubt. So you're adjunct professor. How long have you been teaching over at Metro?
I've been Metro for about 6 years now.
Okay.
Maybe more. I have to count back. I did a stint at Metro, and then I went somewhere and did a stint somewhere else. And when I came back to Omaha, I did some Metro stuff. I did some at ITT when they were here and things like that. So I've been around.
Okay. All right. Now, you're serving on a board now. What are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm on the Learning Community Board.
Okay.
For Douglas and Sarpy counties, was called. And currently, with the virus going on still, even then, our meetings are being Zoomed, and we're still looking at the differences and the things that are going on for the learning community, and evaluating the situation. And our partners are still working on making evaluations for even next year.
Right.
With the students coming in, figuring out what to do about the last part of the year, how much was lost, considering the way things abruptly had to change.
Uh-huh.
I've seen that many students, and the disparity, of course, in being able to reach your students, especially here in the North Omaha area, with the lack of internet and devices, simple devices. I mean, and not only just the devices, but how to use the devices. A lot of people have phones, but not a lot of people know how to use their smartphones, or sometimes don't even have room to put in some of the apps because they take up space. And depending on how old your phone is, you got to make choices about what apps you want to put in there.
Right.
So that going on, we have to look at, and it's going to be a challenge for our community in the year and a half as we go through this virus. I mean, it's not going to be over right away. There will be some, they say, the possible second wave, how that's going to affect us as a whole.
Right.
I'll be honest, that the second wave scares me more than the first, just simply because it'll come when you least expect it, and it'll come hard.
Now you running. You've been developing policy as far as dealing with the learning community.
Yes.
Now you want to go to the state legislature.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. The state legislature is not something that's come up suddenly.
Okay.
Like, a lot of people might ask that question, when did you decide? And they expect you to give an answer like, somewhere in the last month or whatever. But that's not true. And most of us probably is the same way, because things being term limited, of course, that when someone's definitely not going to run again, and you have to make a plan before that, around that time. And looking at the situation here in North Omaha, of course, my game plan would be to primarily get us some jobs in the area, bring in some long-standing jobs, not just short jobs that you can do here and there, but something like manufacturing. Logiers is in the area, but they moved a little ways from where over on Ames, be nice to bring somebody else in or give something those here can expand.
Mhm.
So, like for instance, one of the things I'm thinking about, because it's a long-term project, and that has to do with is trying to figure out how we can get our area involved more in the energy sector that's going to be booming, and if we can get in front of it, because
What are some of your ideas, especially energy? I mean, I knew you had
well,
physics because
that's what I'm saying. Because like for instance, right now I know that Creighton has a solar farm stuff they've been working on, or solar panels that they've been working on, and it'd be nice to be able to get a business to come in here in this area and build something where we can start working on that,
Mhm.
building solar panels, maybe even somehow wind turbines, something in this area, because we've got workers, and we can increase the skill level. And that's the thing with Metro has been working with, is by increasing the technology, the people doing computers and the new buildings that they have built over in Fort Omaha campus, and what they're building over in the South Omaha campus, is to bring in more people with tech school skills in modern technology,
right.
and that will make it easier to bring in businesses. And I'd like to have some of these businesses coming here. And while we have empty lots, unfortunately,
Right.
we can utilize the fact that we have enough room where they can build for themselves. They don't have to come into existing buildings. They can build their own buildings, build what they need. Um, give you an example. Like for instance, just the other day, I was listening to the radio, and I heard that some of the silicon chip people are trying to figure out ways to bring their factories back to America.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be great to have one of those here in Omaha. And I think it's something we should go for. But I mean, at the same time, environmentally speaking, we're going to also have to figure out how to deal with the waste
Right.
at certain businesses. And unfortunately, the silicon business is a lot of high toxic stuff. And that's where we have to look at that, and maybe we'll figure out a way of disposing of that or utilizing that in a safe manner. These are certain things that we can work on. The future is that, but if you have people working, hopefully we have less incarceration. And the incarceration rate is high. We have to look at that. And some of the things we also have to look at is, where are we putting our people?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So you with prison reform?
well, reform is a very important word.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why. Because one man's reform is not your reform.
No, I mean,
But
being a straight senator, you had the objective to introduce bills,
Right,
based
right.
off of
Right.
objective.
So yes, I will introduce bills to help improve our situation.
Mhm.
But at the same time, this is one of the things you always have to remember. This is why I say that we need people in other areas as well as being in the state senate, because you need people who are going to implement these rules.
Mhm.
We need judges. We need lawyers. We need police officers who are in the minority suit, who
Right.
can go in and change, hopefully, or even at the top of that, to change the culture that they're using. Because, you can say we have a high rate of incarceration, and you look at the judges, and one of the things that makes us high is if you look at the people going in front of the judges, we have a high rate right there to start off with. So you have a high rate of people being put in front of judges compared to those who aren't. Then, of course, you're still going to have a high rate of incarceration of the minorities as opposed to the others.
Right. Now,
So-
why should people vote for you? There's 5 other candidates. Why? I know you're smart.
Yeah.
You're educator.
Yes.
You're from this community.
Yes.
Why should people vote for you?
Okay. I guess
Because I mean, it's gonna be a tough decision.
it is a tough decision. And I realize that's a very tough decision for an individual. And to vote for me, you're voting for someone who's looking forward, who's going to constantly be looking after you. As a matter of fact, one of the things I like to point out is I'm going to have an office here in North Omaha, actually in our district on 30th Street, or the Manderson, right in the smack in the middle of the district, right where you can see it, where you can come and see me or whoever's there, where I hope to have some interns and people who can learn about the different positions out there that they can be run for, elected to, and a constant year round, and not something that just comes up every 4 years or every 2 years. So I will be very visible in the community.
Okay.
I will not be hard to reach.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, if you want to call me right now, my phone number to reach me right now is 402-805-2958. That's 402-805-2958. You can call me and I'll answer. So you see, I am here.
Right. So you're gonna be accessible.
I will be accessible. I will also be working, when you work with people in different parts of the state, I will be working with them to do what is best, not only for their community, but for ours, our community, primarily for me. I'm being able to knowing how to try to persuade them to vote for legislation that we need, because it's not just what I want to go up. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is I'm going to have to go up there and I'm going to have to work with people. And when we're working with people, I'm going to have to get them to go along with us when a bill comes across.
Right.
And the one thing you have to realize is that they have to realize and make sure they understand is what's good for North Omaha is good for the state.
Yeah, without a doubt, because if everybody's doing good, everybody's doing good. Not one people are so-called taking all the resources per se.
Right, and we don't want to. The one thing you also have to remember is that when it comes to looking at the different resources of the state, is that we're low compared to the rest of the state, and that's not good.
Right.
And even dealing with property taxes is all. I mean, I got a whole bunch of stuff. That's when my flyer came out, and it shows you the many of the different issues that are out there that I want to deal with, and property tax is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
How we pay our property taxes. Some people say, well, you're going to raise the property taxes. Well, North Omaha, in this area, compared to the rest of the state, our taxes are low. Even compared to the rest of Omaha, our taxes are low. A plot of land or a lot in here in North Omaha is valued at like $500, $600. And that's where the lot that the house sits on. You go out in South Omaha, that's $1,500.
Right.
You go out west, that's $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Already you can see there's a huge disparity in the land, not the house, just the land.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if you owned a plot of land, you couldn't even bury and sold it at that value, you couldn't even bury yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cheaper to bury yourself on your own land.
Right. So what's your solution as far as property taxes?
Well, what is you have to look at it as a whole. One, to function. So I'm not trying to go out and say, I want to cut all the property taxes without giving a certain way of building up the revenue. But what I would do, one of the things I also know is that when you pay your property taxes, is that if you own the land, if you own your property outright, no longer paying a mortgage to the bank, you have to pay, well, they want you to pay your property taxes either in one lump sum or in two lump sums out the year. And that's, what other thing do you have to pay that way? Nothing. Why don't we just go ahead and make it so that we can pay our property taxes monthly?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And do like everybody else, they charge a little interest on that monthly fee, whatever. That's a little extra revenue, to be honest, for the state. And people will gladly pay it because it's easier on their budget. Mm-hmm. It's easier to see.
So by law, you can't pay it monthly?
No.
Okay. So you'll be penalized if you don't follow the current process.
Right. I mean, the current process is that you're given the first day to pay.
Yeah, I totally understand. You say you either pay a one lump sum or you pay in two payments.
Right.
So you put legislation for monthly payments. So it's even
12
in regards to people's budget.
Right, 12 throughout the year, so you don't have to save it.
Is that the reason why people are losing their homes, because you think it's in that pay structure?
No, home loans are totally.
No, I'm talking about tax. We're talking about property taxes.
When property taxes, I don't know why they're property taxes, but that could be part of it. Because, like I said, there's a difference when you own a mortgage and when you own the property outright. So if I've got a mortgage that I'm paying, and I'm paying, you pay your mortgage, they take care of it because they put that in the mortgage and the escrow and everything. But when you're paying it on your own, you don't have that you don't have that ability. Right away, I do believe it would help. Plain and simple. There's no question about it.
Okay. Well, what else is something that initiative that you'll put forth if elected?
Well, okay. One of the things I also have a feeling that would probably enhance us a little bit, and this is some of you look at this is going to reduce the revenue and property tax, and that is if you're above 80 years old and you lived in your house for over 30 years, you shouldn't have to pay property tax.
It's like that right now. It's 65. It's
called
the Homestead Act.
No, the Homestead Act is the difference between what I want to do and the Homestead Act is the Homestead Act is based off of your income.
Right.
I don't want it based off your income.
So I mean, but usually at 65, it's at 80. Most people are in nursing homes. So just it to 65 while people.
Well, I said at the end. See, of course, the way you have to work it out. You have to work out the scale that would start at 65 and go up. So like definitely after 80. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
After 80.
So it should be free. Shouldn't be charged no more.
After 80 and you had it for like 30 years, you should have to pay.
Well, most people my mom stayed in her house till she died.
Mm-hmm.
But we kept her. But most people put their family in nursing homes.
Right, I understand, but you see what I'm saying? Right. These are just incentive. If your mom can stay at home and not have to pay those taxes, and you don't have, it will help. And not to mention, with it all, depending on now here in North Omaha, our taxes are lower. Like I said, the property taxes are low. But if you're out west and you're paying $10,000 a year in property.
I know, but it's still the equivalent because we make less money. We're top 5 per capita in economic as far as making money.
Right. Well, what I'm saying out there though is that if you're paying more, what you can do is you use that money to invest it back in the state.
Well, I mean,
and investing your money back in the state.
I mean, right now it's right now property taxes they're in trouble because there's no revenue. So the state's looking for other alternative as far as revenue. What are your ideas for bringing in other revenue?
More jobs, getting in more people to get more jobs, income revenue. That's really one of the only real ways to drive revenue is that for people to have a large amount of income, and then we can work from there. If we don't have the income revenue, then you have a problem of a base. You need a solid base. And the base, even if it's just, you're talking about property taxes, even if people can't pay the property taxes, then you ruin your base income. Because a lot of the times when people sell their properties, or the government buys it, they buy it at a less rate than what the property taxes themselves were. So, and the new person does things that ruins it. The other thing that makes property taxes go, if you have property value. In other words, when I talk about the fact that our land value is so low, if you have more buildings because we have a lot of empty lots here in North Omaha.
So I mean,
and that right there drives down the property value. Getting property taxes.
So right now, basically that you want to reform property taxes, criminal justice,
improve security in their area, deal with the policing problems that we're having or don't have so much of. I mean, I want to deal with everything. You see, you try and you want me to pinhole.
But Brother Williams, especially we have brother. We just had brother. I call him Baby Jesus, but y'all call him Fred Conley.
Okay.
And so, they're really talking about actually legislation that really deal with a legislator. I know Ernie Chambers criticized police, but legislation really don't affect the police in regards to policing. That's more like a Ben Gray issue or
right.
It's more like a Ben Gray issue.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these issues that are more been, different areas. But you see, the thing about putting me there is I'm going to have my office. I'm going to bring in people to talk to, on all kinds of issues, and not just the state. I want to be, the office is going to be a place where you can bring your issues, and I'll help you find the right answers.
Right.
That's why I want the office here. You see, the office is a very, very important thing and part of it, because it's part of me staying in contact with people.
Okay.
Our legislation from the state, it has a very statewide look of things, and how to bring in the jobs is one of the issues that they're going to have to deal with.
We know. I mean, before the coronavirus, jobs were. I mean, Trump had the best economy.
Trump economy.
I mean, you gotta go. You gotta go with statistics. I mean, Obama was a part of that trend.
Yeah,
started that trend, and the Trump administration have made good decisions to continue that trend up. You got to give it credit. So,
well,
I think we're gonna have jobs. So, I mean,
we don't. I mean, you can look. When I look in this district in LD11.
Or do you think, or do we think we need jobs? Because right now we bring in entrepreneurs. I think.
Here's the difference. When you talk about jobs for the average person,
that's your platform. You say you want to bring in more jobs.
Yes.
I just want to know specifically how you gonna bring in more jobs, because you run against a group of 5 people that are talking about specific ways of how they're gonna bring in jobs. I know Brother Connolly said that he's for legalized medical marijuana. That funding can be relief for property, can use be for specific things. That's going to be crucial when you look at our next legislator, especially when you got a Justin Wayne up there that is writing masterful legislation, and you're taking over someone that a history maker.
Yeah, Chambers is definitely a history maker. And when they talk about the different ways of bringing in the jobs, okay, this is what I'm going to tell you.
No, we got about like 5 more minutes. We're gonna wrap it up, but I really want to talk about why. What's your 3 things that you're really gonna want to accomplish when you get elected? Because I know you feel confident. You got to feel confident.
Yes.
I see you. Your literature. I see your banners. So I see your work out there.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to accomplish when you want to win that day one?
First thing I want to do is I want to work on bringing in jobs.
Okay.
And when you look at this area, you talk about jobs. You talk about. I'm not going to point this out. There's all that's connected, because you walk around. We got nothing. We got empty lots. We've got no buildings.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay, so
you can't have a job. You can't have an office if you don't have a building.
I understand, but how are you going to bring in jobs?
Okay, and so by going out there and talking to these different people and the firms like Creighton, and seeing what they can do to bring in the energy sector, talking to the other legislators and trying to get them to bring a bill that would help people want to build stuff here in North Omaha to bring in our jobs, because we also need transportation. And the transportation, when I'm looking at right now in the metro system, isn't what it was when I was little.
I understand that, but again,
and so that means that people can't go to their jobs. They can't get to their jobs. So you have to either improve that or bring them the jobs here.
So you'll support city officials to get them funded, because again,
yes, what it takes to get the jobs here.
Okay,
I want to work with them. I'm not going. I can't do it all by myself.
Right.
You see, I want to work with them to get it done.
Okay. Now, tomorrow is election day.
Yes, that's a very important day, and it's very important that for people who have their ballots, who got take-home ballots, okay, that they turn them in by 8:00. Now the thing is, if you got a take-home ballot now, it's probably too late to mail it in. So you need to turn it in, put it in one of the boxes that are out, the ballot boxes that are on the yellow slip that came with your take-home ballot. There's one at the library, okay? There's one downtown. You cannot take those ballots to the polling places. They won't accept them.
Again, you can't take them if you got a mail-in ballot. You can't take it to the polling site. However, you got to give it to the poll worker, and then they will give you a provisional ballot to vote.
Yeah, if you want to keep that ballot you have already filled out,
you have to take it to the poll. If you're going to vote to the poll, I listen to the election commissioner,
right?
And we've been talking about this all week. So if you got a mail-in ballot and you did not mail it in, you could take it to, if you're in North Omaha, you could take it to Washington Branch Library,
right? The drop box outside.
If the election commission might be closed, and then I rather you call them to get the accurate addresses and locations. But you have time tomorrow. But tomorrow you need to go to your polls. But call the election commission in the morning. Some polls have moved because of the elderly and the coronavirus. If they've been at towers or if they're in old folks' homes, they have been moved. You already been notified. But for those that might, as soon as junk mail, call your election commission. They will go over the rules with a drop off. But if you got a mail-in ballot, just take it to your polling site, give it to the poll worker. They will give you a provisional ballot. You can vote. They will count provisional ballots afterwards.
Right.
Okay. So that's a procedure. We want you guys to vote. This is going to be
that's one way.
Record election. This could be a record election.
Yeah, that's one way you can do it. The other way is you can still drop it in the boxes.
Yep. So
the boxes and the yellow paper that came with the ballot has the boxes locations on it.
Yeah.
For our district, the closest box is at the Washington Library or downtown in front of the Civic Center.
29th in Ames here in North Omaha. Any parting words? Anything that we didn't discuss that you want to?
A lot of things that we didn't discuss, but like you said, you're running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to simply say that a vote for me is a vote for the community. I will be here. I will be here regardless. So you will see me again.
Okay. So, and right now you're currently on the learning committee. How often do you guys meet over with the learning committee?
We have our monthly meetings, and then we have our sub-district meetings, and we have our committee meetings.
So you still will be representing?
I will be representing our community and the learning community until the end of the year, because you can only run for one office at a time.
Okay.
And our cycle is the same as our 4-year cycle for our sub-district is the same as LD11 cycle.
Okay.
So that's
so you had to choose which one.
I had to choose. And I guess the other thing about the learning community is that there were only 2 people running this time, and both of them are going to make it because there's only 2 spots and there's only 2 people.
Right.
They're both good people. It might have been nice to see some extra people take more interest in the learning community because of the impacts our youth. And that's one of the other things I need to, like I said, we got a lot of focus on certain job or certain elected positions. We need to have a focus more. We need to be more broad. We need to educate our people to get them to reach out to the different areas and understand the different possibilities where they can be useful. And that's one of the other things that I would do is as a, having my office down there is I would make it more accessible for people to come and learn things, learn about our government, and not just wait until election time and people come in and understand who they can help and what's possible.
Right.
And also with the different community organizations, see what they need, what we can do, and who can do what. Loosen up the confusion about what an office does.
Great.
And like I said, and try to get more people to be judges. Because to be quite honest, that's where we're really lacking are the judges, not just local judges, but state judges and all the rest, and ADs and sheriffs and things like that. We need it everywhere. And that's where we want to try and get our youth to go to. Those who want to think about politics or improving our community is not just one office.
Okay.
And we have to be aware of that.
Well, cool. So it's not too late to
It's not too late to vote for me.
Yeah, without a doubt. So again, to tell the people why they should vote for you.
Why? Well, I just did. And my name is Cornelius Williams.
Okay.
And I am born and raised here in this district. And if you want to know, I go to the Church of Living God. And even then, as a small child, they always say, who are your heroes? Well, Jesus, Solomon, and Spock.
Okay. Well, Mr. Spock, that's my man also. He always got to use logic when making a decision, and he had to be calm, cool, and collected. Without a doubt, Omaha, Nebraska, we've been talking to my man Cornelius Williams. He's bidding for LD 11 Senator Chambers, historic position. Oh yeah. This is a historic position. He's a professor at Metro Community College, teaches physics on the Learning Community Board from Omaha. He's an Eagle, and so he's asking for your vote. His name is Cornelius Williams. What's your contact number again, bro?
402-805-2958. That's 402-805-2958.
All right, big bro. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna take a break. We got another guest coming on. We got I think she's the only lady. Well, we got two ladies running.
Two ladies are running.
Yep, we had everybody in here. Gwen is the last person that we have to interview. She's the last individual. So we got you guys in. Fred, we just got him in a couple of days ago. So we're gonna make sure that you guys get a touch on what the ideals is for our North Omaha. It's gonna be very, very crucial. And so we got Gwen coming up. Give us about 5 minutes. Give us a couple of songs, then we'll get her 30-minute interview out the way. I gotta get some work done, man. It's gonna be a pretty busy day. I still got a lot more work to do today. So we're gonna let y'all check out this cut. This cut is called Young Black Visionary by Wakanda One. Oh yeah, baby. They're from Omaha, Nebraska. You know how we do it. Boss with me.
YBB, young black visionary, YBB,
See the light and we walk into it, tapped in worldwide. Hot power, listen to this mind shower. And meditation deep, then it woke me on my sleep. Up to where we supposed to be. Could it be a lack of empathy for one another? The fruit when we chopping down a tree. Meaning once we taste success, we forget about the rest. Sip until nothing's left, then board a private jet. Nah, that ain't it. We clasp hands like vice grips. We pick each other up more than little babies, kids. If I got it, you get it. If you need it, I lend it. If you hungry, we split it. One important thing for us to see is manipulation through music, news, and TV. Sports or entertainment, those the lanes to aim at. Very few gon' make it. False scarcity, now we see. Whole new age, agrarian sound. It's a whole new age, agrarian sound. Whole new age, agrarian sound. It's a whole new age, agrarian sound. YBB, YBB,
Black visionary, YBB. YBB. YBB.
We good people. Why they wanna put the squeeze on us? In their mind, they own us. In our minds, they owe us. For years, they preyed on our fears and we let them. To put it mild, forget them. No more shall we let them. Furthermore, we a blessing to our people that's stressing. And the young adolescents that just need some direction so they don't feel alone. No, they belong to a tribe. It's Wakanda One supplying plenty food for your mind and a vibe for your spirit. In your heart, you can hear it. Not some hocus pocus, just a little reminder. Stay focused on the task at hand so you can stand firm. Walk through a whole furnace, but still don't burn. We build for tough. Faith opens real doors. We walk through them. Now we running, about to take flight or something. Young black visionaries matter. This is just a sample platter. We got more in the kitchen, serving a whole lot of vision.
YBB.
YBB. Aquarian sound.
Black visionary.
One for all of my young black visionaries. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. All right, all right, Omaha Metro area. We got our second guest in the house. We're gonna get her all set. Us all set up. I'm gonna make sure these doors are locked and all this stuff. But we got this high guest. She takes high security. She has high security. Without doubt, she's very important. I'm gonna get her set up. You guys enjoy some music real quick, and then we're gonna be right back with you guys with another interview. Her name is Gwen, and she's been taking care of the next generation for a long time. So we're gonna talk to her and see what her objective is for District 11, because she's running for District 11. She's running for that famous seat. Oh yeah, that Ernie Chambers seat, y'all. Oh yeah, District 11. So we'll be right back with you. Boss with me. All right, Omaha Metro area. We right back with you. We turn this down. Oh yeah. Can you hear me out there? Going up and down the stairs. I gotta get in better shape, y'all. Gotta get in better. I'm trying to get in better shape. We got our next guest in the house. This young lady is also running for LD11, Legislative District 11. She wants to take over Ernie Chambers' position. She's the second young lady that's running for District 11. We're gonna get a chance to get to know her, why she's running, and she's gonna be asking for your vote. Voting's tomorrow, y'all, without a doubt. And so we had a chance to bring in all the candidates, and she's the last one. But hey, sometimes you gotta bring in the last. The rear. The rear always the fastest. You know what I mean?
Well, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Heck yeah, without a doubt. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let the people know who you are and why you're running for Senator Chambers' position.
Well, my name is Gwen Easter, and I am a longtime resident of North Omaha. I was born and raised here, and I care a lot about my community. And I have also had my business, Safe Haven Early Childhood Preschool here, and then have provided other services to children and families for 20 years.
Okay.
And I am running for the legislature because there were some things that happened in my community that I did not like what was happening with the monopoly and the gentrification of our community. And so that's one of the things that led me to want to run for the legislature. Also, I just care. I just care about our community, and I don't want to see what is happening continue to happen
Right.
in our community.
Okay, now,
Yes, born and raised.
Where'd you go to school at?
I went to Flanagan High School.
Flanagan, okay.
Graduated from Flanagan. Mhm.
Shouts out to Flanagan. Heck
Yes,
yeah.
I love Flanagan.
Yeah, they still do.
Best school.
Well, my niece is working over there.
Oh, okay.
Susie Buffett. So she no, not Susie Buffett. Susie Busby, Busby. She works over there with the youth over there.
Okay.
And so heck yeah. Shouts out, old Flanagan. Now it's called, what is it called now? It's called
It's Blackburn down. Flanagan
Blackburn.
is no longer, but
right.
that was the best school ever.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, the teachers cared about us, and
Uh-huh.
and I appreciate it all.
Heck yeah. I used to referee a lot of basketball over there. So when did you graduate from over there?
Well, I graduated in '88,
Okay.
and I came back and walked the stage later with my sister because I wanted to walk across the stage.
Right.
So,
Well, cool. Did you you say you got into childcare? How did you get into childcare?
well, I started with the childcare when I was 16 years old through a program. It used to be called the CETA program.
Heck yeah, see that.
So
Heck yeah.
that's where my interest started. And as far as like volunteering and things like that, I started with the Boys and the Girls Club, working on there as volunteering. And then I joined the AmeriCorps in 1998 to tutor kids, working with the United Way, Omaha Public School System, and other organizations in our community. I realized that more than half of our kids couldn't read and couldn't write, and so reflecting back on my own personal school experience, I wanted to continue helping our kids and getting our young kids prepared for kindergarten, helping kids who had dyslexia, and also providing services to children and their families, because we have a lot of had a lot of issues, poverty, and families needing help with housing, and,
Right.
Written assistance and things like that. So that's kind of how my journey kind of began.
Okay, great. Now, you've been in there for 20 some years, so obviously, you care about your neighbor, you care about the next generation because you're dealing for a while. Now, what was the motivating factor for you to, actually run? I mean,
Okay, so back around maybe 2011, 12, somewhere around in there, I began to notice that there's some things happening in our community with our daycares.
Okay.
And there was a lot of daycares beginning to lose their business. I ended up closing one of my daycares, and my original daycare where I started my services by other community services at, I began to experience losing children. And I'm right across the street from Howard Kennedy School, so
Right.
they had the Head Start program there. Then the next thing you know, they're establishing these learning centers, which the educator was already being placed here. We just didn't know what all of this was going to end up being about,
Right. Right.
And so we start losing childcare businesses, and I thought it was just my childcare. And then to come to find out that there were community organizations, our leadership working with wealthy nonprofit organizations and the Nebraska Board of Education, the school system, to push out our daycare businesses.
Okay.
And so that is what motivated me, because, that's the one area in our community that Black people really dominated in the childcare industry as far as
take care of their own kids.
Right. And so, it didn't just affect us as business owners. It affected the families that we were serving, because they're being redirected to now these learning centers that are now being established in our community, and they're using taxpayer dollars, 6-cent dollars. Early childhood funds is being donated, and by wealthy people and others. And childcare businesses, we can't compete with free.
Right.
And then they're deciding who gets the funding. Like, there's been legislature set up where these centers that are connected to the schools, which the public school system, they're K through 12.
Right.
Okay, so these early childhood centers that are connected to them belongs to, like, they have built what they're calling a collaborative, 75 North.
Private partnership
Right,
relationships.
private partnerships. And they are the ones driving kids to these centers, but they're also the ones that are being able to decide who's getting the fund, who gets funded.
So if elected, when elected, what would you do?
So the first thing that I want to do is
to make sure, because those are small businesses we're talking about.
That's right, and it took money. Let me say this: it took money out of our community when those over 100-some daycares closed, because they had people who worked for them.
Heck yeah, without doubt.
They had, they had mortgages. They had my property now is up for sale because I can't compete with free.
Right.
And if it doesn't sell, because I refuse to just give my property to just anybody for a low price of money.
Right.
Then I have to figure out, how am I going to compete with free?
Right.
And so and then we also have the Buffett Early Childhood Institute, who is leading the charge, wanting to start a workforce commission, and they're trying to convince the Nebraska Department of DHS to basically let them have control and say over our businesses. Although they may, not have their staff on the workforce commission, they're still behind the scenes running the show and dictating about our businesses, private owned businesses. And this is a nonprofit organization. So when I'm in office, this is what I like to do.
Right.
I would like to work with those senators. First of all, we need to take a look at how this money was being distributed, because these partnerships, who they get to choose, just like they're now choosing, the rural communities is where those centers needed to really go, because that's where the need was really, but instead they came into this community, the Black community predominantly, and decided, this is what we should do, and none of our leadership stood up for our businesses, but they went along with this. So the first thing I want to do is I want to sit down with the senators, and I would like us to revisit some of the bills pertaining to early childhood education and the childcare businesses, rural and in our area. Okay, that's what I like to do first, to start there.
Okay, and then what else would you?
The other issue is that we have, these mixed developments that are here now. Don't get me wrong. I want people to understand. It's not that I'm against us having developments and new developments. What I'm saying is we cannot have just a few individuals or those who is partnering with them to decide about our community, because a lot of people that's living in this community, we're not at those tables. Some of these organizations that are speaking on our behalf, those individuals don't even live in our community. First of all, and then we have these mixed events that's not affordable for all people. So if you're making only $9 or $10 an hour, you cannot afford to live there without a voucher. And not everyone wants to be on a system. Even though they want to paint the picture like everyone's on the welfare of the Black community, that's not true. They want to paint the picture that low income people don't care about their children or can't teach or take care of their children. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to say that there are not families out there that need help. You know what I mean? And we should be supporting them. But when it comes to these housing, we need single family homes to be built in this community. You know, just like they're using building the elderly homes.
Mm-hmm.
Those have 2 and 3 bedrooms, right? We can do the same for single family homes and rent them out.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to find a way to figure out how we can bring in money. You know, and this, again, the legislature, I want to talk to them to figure out how we can do it. I want to talk to the people in this community to figure out how can we bring in single family homes, because if they can bring in elderly homes and build them, sure
Mm-hmm.
enough, they can do the same when it comes to single families.
Okay.
So that's what I want to focus. One of the other things I want to focus on. Also, I wanted to say this. Is it's just like the juvenile justice system
Mm-hmm.
has issues and things going on there. We have problems with jobs. Well, the same individuals that sit at these tables and make all these decisions are the same individuals that are stopping us from being able to prosper in this community.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna be make sure you're a fighter, soldier of truth.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I'm against our the leadership here
No,
as much as to say that I want them to be more fair.
So, well, actually, you want to make sure that you're at the table so you can.
Yeah,
voice
we're
your
at the
opinion.
table. And not only that we're at the table, but our voices are being heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because, and it needs to be more diversity of us at the table. I say that because, Governor Ricketts, I appreciate him. He appointed me to his early childhood interagency coordinating council to be a voice for providers.
Okay.
But I'm not here to represent that council. But on that council, it's just myself and another lady who is a Black lady.
Mm-hmm.
And before then, there was no one on that committee.
Right.
You know, that was of a different nationality. And so we have those who feel like that they can ignore us, even at the table, even when it's concerning our childcare businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We have those, and so we need more diversity across the board,
Mm-hmm.
and not people who are going to just go along with the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
that others have set forth for our community. Now, I'm not saying that everything is bad about what is being done, but surely the way that it has been handled and how it's affecting our children, our families, and our businesses in this community, that's not right, and that needs to change.
Okay. Now, you mentioned juvenile justice. We had Chris Rogers in here earlier. And Dutch County really doesn't concern you. The state prison really concern you because that's the state prison. You're state senator. What is your what's your philosophy on juvenile justice, but also just violence as a whole? Because you're gonna have to deal with the penal system.
Well, I would say this: we have to look at everything, because we have what I call the preschool. School age prison pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to direct, that will lead or try to lead our kids to that system, So we do have to look at some things that's going on, on the lower level,
Mm-hmm.
because we want to stop our kids from ending up in the prison system,
Mm-hmm.
So there are areas that, yes, I have to focus on. But I think it has to be a balance on both ends,
Mm-hmm.
to do so. And I don't know everything. I am learning.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have all the ideas, but that's where my community has to come in and back me up on some things. So, I don't want to continue to see our kids, period, no matter what nationality they are, in these systems.
Right. Also, I see on your flyer you have taxes and incentives. What do you mean by taxes and incentives?
Well, what I'm thinking on the taxes, yes, of course, we would like to see property taxes lower, and I'm kind of learning a little bit more about that. But when I'm talking about the incentives, like how they're giving incentives to have to companies, we need incentives for companies to come into this community and establish jobs here.
Right.
Businesses here. We need them to give more incentives when it comes to them building the apartments or housing, for our families that is affordable. Because we have like Habitat for Humanities here, and they're selling houses to families, but not everyone, like I said, can afford to buy a house. But if we work on creating jobs that's paying decent wages where people can live, like they said, livable wages, then we can work on those areas. So that's what I mean about providing incentive. We got to figure out a way to get people to want to come here and establish businesses here where it will give good jobs, where people have to be pushed out of our community, moving other places that they really can't afford to live.
Right. Now, there's 4 other candidates, 2 women. Are you for marijuana, legalized marijuana, medical marijuana, or recreational marijuana to create revenue to relieve some of the property taxes, or to even pay for some of the other services like some of our neighboring states? What's your opinion on medical marijuana?
I'm not in agreement with making marijuana legal. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think that marijuana already causes, it's enough problems with drugs, and we're trying to, deal with the drug addictions and things of that nature. So let's not pretend like marijuana is the answer for all these things. Now, when it comes to medical marijuana, I think they understand about the cannabis. They talk about the cannabis. Okay, so I don't know a lot about how they want to use the marijuana, but this is what my understanding.
I got a flyer there. So
but actually, let me just say this real quick.
Go ahead.
What I want to say though is this: to my understanding, the cannabis side of that is
CBD.
CBD. Okay, it's not really marijuana. It doesn't get you high. It doesn't do these things. Okay, so.
It's still marijuana though.
Well, those things, but it doesn't get you high, is what I'm saying.
No,
no,
it doesn't.
And so those things I might want to look at and get a better understanding about, because I understand that they can help with seizures. Right. I did watch a documentary on those things, but as far as us just letting people just smoke marijuana and all this, no. Because I understand it's a plant God created, but He didn't create it for us to be smoking it and things like that. You know what I mean?
But it's an herb.
It is a herb. It's a herb. It's a plant, but it's not the intent of which people want to.
I don't know, but God made it.
He did make it, but that doesn't mean us. Because I'm telling you, people can say all day long what they want to say about marijuana, but marijuana is something that we need to try to not encourage our young people or any other people to be smoking. Now, like I said, there's a difference.
So you're in agreement for medical purposes, though.
I'd have to look at that.
More studies?
I'm just telling you that for me, I would not vote for marijuana. Okay. I would not vote for it. Okay. But I would look at it on that factor to see, is this something that we really should look at as far as it being used to help people with seizures. Right. Now, because
now one of your young candidates,
but I wouldn't vote for it.
2029, and his main argument is that we need to get new thinking, because technology has changed, medical research has changed, and so he said it's time for new fresh ideas. Because if you look at most older folks, they might did it when they was youthful, but they're restrictful. I know families. I know a lady specifically had to move they sold their house from out west and moved to Colorado because she had tumors and breast cancer. And they had to go out to Colorado to get CBD treatment. Now she's tumor free. She did have to remove on her breast, but she don't have no tumors in her brain anymore, based off of God's herbs. So like I said, so there's medical purposes. I would love to take advantage of it and make paper out of it, because with hemp, it's the same thing we're talking about. Hemp is marijuana also, and take advantage of making paper or making fuel out of it. So there's a lot of other.
Well, there may be, but here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If we legalize that, it opens up doors for other things to be legalized. If you say this is okay here, it does open up doors. Only thing that I can say, I understand about we need to do our different thinking and things of that nature.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But my point is that for me, you're asking me if I would, if I prefer,
and you say
and I don't.
You need more study.
I would not vote for legalizing marijuana.
So
I would.
What was your idea for creating more revenue there? Because
I'm sure there is other ways for us to create revenue. We just have to take a look at certain things and find out. But for me, as a person, I'm not going to encourage marijuana.
No. I understand. I understand your stance. But again, if you look at most of the people in the state, they're talking about property tax relief. Mm-hmm. And if you're gonna be a state senator and you're going against two people that got law degrees that talk about specific things that what they're going to do.
Well, he will have a law degree. No. I understand who you're speaking of, but
I'm just saying, because you're gonna be dealing with legislation.
Yes.
Brother Fred did say that, and I didn't know this until he said it, which is good. That they actually you just basically come with an idea, and they got legislative writers to actually put it in a bill format, which is great.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
But it's gonna take specific things like that, because when I watch Senator Wayne and the legislation he put forth and how it affects the community, those are really specific ideals and specific ways to fund it. And so when you talking about taking a position, a historic position, people are going to look at you and judge you in that fashion. If your plan is first of all, is it workable? Is it workable? So great ideas on of course we need jobs. Of course we need affordable housing. Of course we need all that for sure.
Well, let me share this with you. I may not have a law degree.
No, I
know, but let me just be clear. Because I may
not have a law degree. I'm gonna say who you competing against.
Right. I understand that.
Right.
I'm not Senator Ernie Chambers. I'm not trying to walk, in his shadow of that, but he is a legendary senator.
But you are walking in the shadow. Everybody is.
Okay, but
all five of y'all.
I understand that. But I'm going to be myself.
Great.
I'm going to do as much research as I possibly can, work with others as the best to my ability, and try to find those solutions. Now, I'll work with people in the community if they're willing to work with me.
Right.
And if they're not willing to work with me, then I just have to do the best that I can to represent our community to best of my ability.
Right.
But I'm not going to let the fact that I don't have a degree deter me from wanting to become the senator of our state or feel like I'm inferior, lesser than to. No, I know, but just hear me out. What I'm saying is that you have to do the research, and there are those that are the system is created to where I can go to them and I can get them to help me to legally draw up, what he's drawing up. Senator, there are many senators that are in these positions that get that support. There are those who also bring bills already kind of, put together, and then they it might be needing to be critiqued or however, so there's ways for me to help people regardless of the fact that I may not have a degree or a law degree, and I'm not saying this is going to be an easy job. I'm not saying that, when I get there, everything's going to be, dandy, but I'm saying that I will give it my best.
Oh yeah, without doubt. To me, I mean, law degree that doesn't make any difference. But most of it's going to be laws that you make it. And
right, and it's gonna be laws that I'm making, and you know, I'm sure that not everyone that you know that has ran in the past or will run in the present will have a law degree.
No,
you know,
I'm not saying that. Being to me, a daycare provider is way more valuable than being a lawyer because you're affecting many lives. So it depends on a teacher's way more important to me than a computer programmer. So, but those individuals teach the next generation. They nurture the minds of the next generation. So I put value on people versus in a building per se that people want to build and take jobs from other daycare. So I look at the people that affects, which is way more important. A degree, I brag off my education. Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay. But we still on the air. I brag off my education, but but that's because you know my mama picked cotton.
Yeah, my family's from Mississippi. You know, Mississippi, and so I understand about education. I'm not against people going to college. I have a lot of certifications in a lot of many areas.
Right,
you know, I started my business and my organization with $600 in my pocket.
Right.
You know, I saw a need in our community, and I went out and I met those needs with just me and God. So
right.
You know, and I should say with God and me, because I couldn't have did it without Him. You know, so.
There's no inferiority in a business owner. You're a business owner, and a business owner takes great decisions.
And it's been challenging, and it's been challenging, especially these last 10 years because of, like I said, of the situations that are going on in our community. But you know, I think I'm up for the challenge.
Right.
And like I said, I only could do my best. I'm not gonna probably please everyone.
Right. No one please everybody.
That's right. And you're gonna have those who agree with you and those who don't agree with you.
Right.
And so you got to just be able to handle it. You know.
Now, why should people vote for Miss Gwen?
I think people should vote for me because, like I said, I'm willing to do my best that I can. I care about our community. I am not in the, you know, I don't have other best, these special interest groups' best interests. I have the best interests of my community.
Right.
And so those are the reasons why I think they should vote for me.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. And you're from here?
And I'm from Nebraska, born and raised. Grew up in Logan Fentanyl, proud of it, ain't ashamed of it.
Right.
You know, and my community.
Where'd you go to high school at?
I went to Flanagan.
Oh, yeah, Flanagan.
School, yeah.
Where junior high?
I went to Norris Junior High.
Shout out to Norris. Okay.
I left the Omaha Public School system because I didn't feel like they had our best interests.
Would you go to private school? I mean,
I went Flanagan. Yeah, I had to pay my own way to go there too. Because Mama was like, "No, yeah, okay. If you want to go, you're gonna get a job." So that was okay with me. You know, I think God was preparing me all along my whole journey that I've been through. So. You know, I love the culture of North Omaha. I feel like, you know, where I grew up, you know, we all learned how to stand with each other, you know, support one another. You know, we went through our ups and our downs there, you know what I mean? So, you know.
Well, we appreciate you. Glad you're running. It takes a lot of strength to run. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna get criticized, you're not gonna get support.
And I have, you know, I've had my fair share, but I did want to mention something, William, before we leave. I want people to know too that I am running as an independent, which is the reason why I was not on the postcard that was sent out that had about the color.
Pressure was in here. We talked about that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't get to see that interview, but I do want to say this that. I did not run as a Democrat, for one, because there are certain things I do not, you know, agree with. Also because of the fact that, you know, it was Black leadership, Democrat Black leadership that helped push out my business and others' businesses. And so I don't think that's, you know, why would I want to support something that is, you know, helping others, you know, to come into my community and push us out of business.
Right.
So I want people to understand that to why I'm not on that card. You know, and I'm still asking for their vote.
Oh, heck yeah, without a
Because I don't
doubt.
have any special interest, but that's the reason why I'm not running as a Democrat.
Okay.
hmm
So you don't believe in changing the system from the inside?
I believe, yeah, we're gonna have to change the system. We're gonna have to work across the board to change the system. We're gonna have to work with each other. But the card insinuated as if, just because I didn't run as a Democrat, that I don't care about my community or that I'm not a part of the community.
Oh, who said that?
Oh no! If you read what it said on there, and I was the only other person besides Cameron Gales that was not that's ran as a Republican.
Right.
I have a biblical conservative views.
Mhm.
And I understand I'd have been all of them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I want people to understand to why I was not on that card. I want them to understand why I'm not in agreement with them. I want them to hear that from me because that's what that card insinuated. So that card I did not know was sent out to the entire district of 11. And there are people who have called me and said, we didn't see your name your face on this board. Aren't you not running?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I understand that was for the Democrat Party.
Yeah, it is.
But if you read the statement, you see only in that little small print. If you look down there in that little small print, then you realize it's about the Democrat Party. You know what I mean? But that full statement wants to appear as if I'm not a part of this community because I'm not a Democrat. Because if you read what it said,
right,
that's what it led me to be. Also, I felt like it was an insult to the fact that the Democrat Party helped other Democrat wealthy people come in my community and monopolize, gentrify my community and make it more diverse than it has been. Then you're gonna turn around and insult the other white people who have lived here all their lives too, and then those who have newcomers that are here. So that's how I took it to. That's how it looked to me, and that's how it looked to other people too. And so I'm the only other person that's running in District 11 that's not on that card.
Right. Well, I mean, but I don't think it's personal. No.
I didn't say that it was personal. That's why I'm clearing it up. That's why I'm running as an independent.
Right.
But I wanted people to understand that because there are people. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, or independent. This is a nonpartisan seat. So therefore, you can vote for anyone you choose to.
Right.
You vote for the best candidate of your choice. But because most people look for Democrat or Republican, they don't look for an independent, basically as much as they would look for that, So people knowing that I'm running and then I see my face on something, you know what I mean? When it's saying about the color.
Right.
So I just wanted to clear that up.
Right.
No, I know it's not personal. Yeah, no, yeah. I understand that it's about the Democrats.
Yeah. So on the ballot, when they vote, you're going to have an I in your versus a DNR. Okay.
To my understanding, that's what it looks like. This is
cool.
my first time, running as an independent. But yeah, to my understanding.
And why not Republican? Well, why? If you
for one, what? Let me share this.
I mean, if you're dissatisfied with the Democratic Party,
for one, let me say this about like I said, this is a nonpartisan seat. But let me say this.
But the reason why I asked why not Republican, because you probably could have got some extra funding.
Well. For one, I want to be open. For two, because of the situation that's going on in Washington, D.C., there's a lot of focus on that, And so if I had a run as a Republican, if I had chose to do that, you know what I mean? I don't feel like people would have heard my message more so because they're so focused on what's going on up there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I care about my community, period, that I wouldn't want that to be a hindrance, to them. Like I said, there's some things that I agree with on all sides, but there's some things that I don't agree with.
Right.
But had I ran solely as a Republican, I doubt if I would have got the votes or people would have heard me.
Okay.
They wouldn't have heard the issues. They wouldn't have heard, how I really feel about our community. They wouldn't have heard about, what's going on. I've stood up for our community regardless of that.
Okay.
But I was not going to stand with a party though that sat up there and helped these people push out our businesses.
Right.
That is affecting our community. While we're looking at what's going on in Washington, we have this is happening across the country, by the way, where they're going into Black communities, buying up the land, getting mayors and other leadership to help them to buy up the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to act as if they care so much about our community. But yet they're the ones keeping jobs from coming here. Unless it's their party, unless you're deciding unless you're doing what they want to do, like the gatekeepers that's going on here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't take it personally. I'm just simply saying I just wanted people to understand where I'm coming from.
Right. Okay. Great. And then plus, you're informing others that might be speculating. Well, when they left Glenn off and some malice, and so just clearing up the air.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's whatever, know. But
now, why should people go for Gwen Easter? I know Easter just passed.
Right.
So why should they vote
again? Because like I said, I care about my community.
Okay.
I have stood up for our community and our businesses, and I've lived here all my life. I've done other things in the community to support families and children. And like I said, I may not know everything,
but you're willing to learn.
But I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to go up there and represent the best that I can. And I'm not gonna say it's gonna be an easy task, every day being on the floor and speaking and things like that. But I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing to work with other senators, to do that.
Okay, great. Well, I know that I've seen you in different rooms. I know you can communicate with whomever, and so I don't have no problem with you being able to develop relationships.
Yeah.
Being a state senator.
And I have a relationship with Republicans, Democrats, Independents, whoever. I have a relationship with all people.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm gonna hold to of course, like I said, I'm an independent thinker. My mama taught me to be that way, and I'm gonna hold on to my values, and God is first. God is first in my life. So, after that, we all good to do what we need to do for the betterment of our community.
Well, Gwen, we appreciate you running. We appreciate your 20 years or more of fighting for child care, making sure our children, the next generation, is the best person whom they can be.
Yeah, we need to continue to work on this situation, because, like I said, there are those who are still wanting to make decisions about our daycare. They're private, these private public partnerships, and they're deciding, and they're working with other daycares, and even now they're acting as if they're trying to connect to other Black childcare businesses in this community, portraying like they really care about our community, but they're really about those who have degrees in rural communities and in other parts of our communities. And then they're gonna bring a few of us along because they have an agenda that they're trying to get met. So let's throw a few dollars their way to let them know this is okay. But I know from sitting at some of those tables where the true motives are and the true hearts are, whether they want to believe that or not, and whether daycares want to stand with me. I want them to stand with me, because I'm going to still stand up for my business, my home, because it's up for sale. And it's because of this monopoly and this gentrification. And like I said, daycare providers, we can't compete with free, but not all daycares are not educating children, and we can't allow it to be portrayed as if, they got to come into this community and show us how it's done when their own centers and their staff don't have some of them, just because they have a degree, they don't have the experience of longtime daycare providers who's been working in this field.
I agree with you.
And then there's other things going on in some of their centers that's being ignored, and I think we've talked about that, where parents, everything free ain't free. It's gonna cost you something. You know, and so parents better understand that when they're taking their children into these centers, you better understand that they connected also to these other entities.
So right now you can't go in the center. So what is the daycares doing right now to take advantage of? Because right now,
well, that's what I'm about to do. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Because
I know the governor have changed some things regarding daycare. So why aren't the daycares taking advantage of this? Because
I think they are trying to take advantage of it
because they're not going to be able to go back to the big facilities like that.
Well, I think that they are trying to take advantage of the situation. Like I said, I'm going to now try to attempt to either my property again still is still affected by this situation.
I totally understand that, but right now, parents are actually looking for daycare.
Right, that's right. And so what like for me, I'm trying to see how I'm going to be able to pull in more kids, being the fact that, like I said, everything's been up in the air for me.
So to me, right now,
it's the best time.
God put a reset. So whatever had happened yesterday, that stuff is a wash.
Right. Yeah. Because to a certain extent, it is to a certain extent.
Honestly, it's going to be a wash.
This is going to come back. No, I believe that we're going to get through this. Those centers will still be open. They didn't build that whole place for nothing, and all the rest of it.
I agree.
So we have to be. We're going to have to strategize.
But if the propaganda still they're unsafe, our kid, they're not going to take it over there. I mean,
right now, that's how it looks right now. But again, William, we have organizations that are still.
I understand that.
I know, but hear me out because you kind of interrupted me.
But you talk about stuff that you can't control.
No, I think we can control. Well, first of all, we can control it. We can control it because if we start speaking up, if we start as a community, start speaking up on things instead of allowing things.
But that's unrealistic because that's your profession.
No, I'm not. No, William. But this profession affects all of us, though. It affects if they can do this. Listen, if they can do this to one industry, they can do this to other industries. But it is because we refuse as a community to stand together. We want to stand on certain issues, but we don't want to stand. People should have been getting behind the daycares and saying, "Why are you allowing Black business owners to be pushed out of business?" So this is yesterday, but since we're talking about all of it, I'm just bringing it together. What I said is what I'm trying to do is figure out for me as my own personal business, how to reestablish my business, how to pull in more kids and things like that. But make no mistake that those that are behind this whole agenda of our community, they're still at it. And not only that, they may have to work around the COVID. Right now, like I said, the Buffett Early Childhood Institute, they're giving their opinions. They're giving their professional opinion as they claim, about our businesses. They're asking others in West Omaha about daycare centers. Daycare centers and in-home childcare, we all kind of function the same to a certain extent, but we're not being asked at the table in the manner. They're only asking those who are going to go along with their agenda.
Why you can't control. To me, right now, I see the governor on the news on the press conference talked about daycares, and they're looking for daycares.
Yeah.
So all the daycares that they pushed out, now it's time to mobilize and take it.
And that's what I want daycares to do. But what I'm saying, William.
So what's the strategy of moving forward? Because
for our strategy, the strategy is, first of all, we have to let child care businesses know, first of all, that they're not going to be, for standing up for their businesses, for one, they're not going to lose their license. See, there's things with this that a lot of people don't understand.
We understand. I mean, but if people are elementary in this process, they need A, B, C. They need to do this, and they need to be. That's how they took. That's how they took the opportunity from you guys.
Well, I started the Early Childhood Parent Network where people can join, and we are offering the trainings. We're offering trainings. We're offering. I started that back in 2015, even though I was still getting pushback, that childcare businesses who would like to, they can come aboard and participate, and then they can bring ideas. One of the things of me being on this council that I told you about, I asked some providers to give me their thoughts, their ideas, and this is my page where they can go and do those things.
Right,
you know what I mean? So it's not like they, there's not an avenue out there.
Right, I know
and
it
then
is.
there's some daycares that don't want to, and that's fine too. You know what I mean? But I just want them to understand that there is also a agenda out there, and it's not for the best interests of our daycares, but to push us out.
Right now, there's agenda to we got disparities in everything.
I understand. But go ahead.
I mean, there's an agenda in everything to in health and criminal justice.
But we stand up. But listen, I'm just using this as an example. Mm-hmm. It's the same way when it comes to the juvenile justice system. It's the same way. Mm-hmm. If we don't have people to get behind, the few voices, that do speak up, or whether it's juvenile justice, they want to be calling us troublemakers or blackball us, or try to demean our voices. You know what I mean? So whether it doesn't have to, we don't have to even talk about the child care business, even in the juvenile justice system, even when it comes to jobs. If our community does not start not only standing up, but taking action, some of the things that we are continuing to see in our community will continue to happen because people will have that same attitude. Well, that's your profession. So that's your business. No, this is all of our business because that took money from our community.
Right. So tomorrow is voting day.
Tomorrow's voting day. So I'm going to ask people to come out. Yes, to come out and vote for me and let's do this.
Obviously, you got the passion. And to me, my principal said the best student is the C student. The C student is going to work hard. They might not know everything, but they're going to work hard to get to know it. And so I was a C student. And so you A students and B students, oh yeah, you got it. You got it easy.
I was all three on different levels at different times.
Well, I'm glad you was the A student. I never was an A student.
I made the honor roll a couple of times myself up in Flanagan High School.
Without doubt. Hey, we like smart people. Without doubt. So I know you have the ability to learn. Omaha, Nebraska, we've been talking to Gwen Easter. She is a business owner, but also she's a child care provider that thinks about that next generation. That's a love thy neighbor move, without a doubt. She needs your vote. Tomorrow's voting. If you did not mail in your ballot, you got to mail in ballot. You have to go to the polls now. Take that ballot with you. Give it to the poll worker. They will give you a provisional ballot, and then you can vote, okay? Also call the Election Commission just in case your polling site have moved. The Election Commission did notify people of moved polling sites, but just in case you think it's junk mail, then you can call the Election Commission. Make sure you get your polling site so you don't miss out on voting tomorrow. All right. Get out and vote, y'all. It's important. The local election it's affect us every day. It's bigger than the Trump election. All right. All right, Gwen.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you, everyone. Vote tomorrow, and thank you for tuning in.
Without doubt. You are always welcome back. Boss with us, y'all. All right. Good job.
I'm State Senator Ernie Chambers. I've been a member of the Nebraska legislature longer than anybody in the history of the state. So I know quite a bit about politics, politicians, and I'm a good judge of character. I support Dr. Goswami, and I would tell anybody who would ask me, this is the man who should be the Douglas County Commissioner for our district.
Paid for by Goswami for County Commissioner.
Statement on 2020 Census